My name is Lena. I had been dating my boyfriend Jack for almost 2 years. We met during our first year of college, and the connection between us had been instant. Our relationship was filled with laughter, late night talks, and shared dreams for the future. We were close, supportive, and had built a deep bond. But recently, I had started feeling insecure. I noticed that Jack had been spending more time at work, often texting late, at night, and sometimes appearing distracted when we were together. Though Jack had always been open about his work commitments, I couldn't shake the nagging feeling that something was off. I shared about this with my friends. They told me I seemed distant, more anxious. Some of them even suggested that Jack might be hiding something, but I didn't want to believe them. I trusted Jack. At least, I used to. One evening, I found herself scrolling through my social media feed when I came across a post from a mutual acquaintance, Mia. The post was a picture of Mia and Jack at a party. They were both smiling with their arms around each other. Mia's caption read, "Great night out with my favorite guy. Hash fun, hash memories." My heart sank. Why? Hadn't Jack mentioned the party to me? We had talked earlier that week, and he hadn't mentioned Mia being there, let alone spending time with her. Sure, Jack had many friends, including Mia, but this felt different. The caption, the photo, it all seemed too intimate. I began to replay the events in my mind, going over conversations we'd had, moments we'd shared, but nothing stood out as overtly suspicious. Still, the doubt festered. Were I just overthinking it? I decided to talk to Jack about it, but as I prepared myself for the conversation, I realized something. If I could test his loyalty, just to make sure, I might feel more certain about everything. And that's when the idea for a loyalty test began to take root. I had seen loyalty tests on social media before, usually in the form of elaborate schemes where one partner would set up a situation to see if the other would act unfaithfully. The idea was tempting. I didn't want to confront Jack directly yet. What if I was wrong? What if it was all just a misunderstanding? A test, I thought, would give me a clear answer without causing too much conflict. I reached out to one of my close friends, Sophie, for advice. Sophie was skeptical at first. "Lena, are you sure this is a good idea? You're trying to build trust, not destroy it. What if he finds out? It could backfire on you." But I was determined. I wanted answers, and I needed to be sure. Together, we came up with a plan. Sophie would introduce Jack to one of her friends, Alex, who would play the part of a flirtatious new acquaintance. The goal was to see how Jack would react when presented with an opportunity to stray. If he stayed loyal, then I could breathe easy. But if he flirted back, or worse, made a move on Alex, the truth would be revealed. A week later, me and Sophie made arrangements. I casually invited Jack to dinner, suggesting they meet at a local restaurant. I knew he liked. Sophie would be there with Alex. Sitting at a nearby table, I made sure to mention that Sophie was bringing someone new, a friend she had recently met. Jack was excited to meet new people, so he didn't suspect anything unusual. When they arrived at the restaurant, I made small talk, trying to keep her nerves at bay. Sophie and Alex were already there, and I gave them a subtle nod when they entered. The night seemed to start like any other dinner date, but I couldn't help but observe Jack's every move. She watched as he laughed at the jokes Sophie told, as he exchanged pleasantries with Alex. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary at first. But then Alex began to push the boundaries. Alex, who was playing his role well, was charming and overly complimentary toward Jack. "Wow, I've heard so much about you," Alex said, leaning in a little too close. "You must be the guy who always has the best stories. I can't wait to hear more." Jack, initially reserved, seemed to relax under the attention. He smiled, but Lena noticed a slight change in his demeanor. Was he enjoying the attention a bit too much? Throughout the meal, my heart raced. She kept wondering how far Alex would push and how Jack would react. At one point, Alex casually mentioned that he'd love to grab a drink sometime, and Jack's response was ambiguous. He smiled, shrugged, and said, "We'll see." That moment left me feeling uneasy. What did he mean by that? Was it just an innocent comment? Or was it a sign that he was interested in getting closer to Alex? As the evening wore on, Alex's flirtation became more overt. At one point, Alex leaned in even closer, brushing his hand against Jack's arm in what seemed like a deliberate gesture. Jack stiffened slightly but didn't pull away. My heart sank. I had been watching the entire exchange closely, and it seemed like Jack wasn't rejecting the attention, but rather enjoying it. Finally, Sophie decided to step in. She excused herself and went to the restroom, leaving me alone with Jack and Alex. As soon as she was gone, Alex's tone became even more suggestive. "So, Jack, you're a fun guy. You know, I think we'd get along really well. Maybe we could hang out, just the two of us, sometime." I could feel the tension building. She didn't know what Jack would do. Was this the moment when he would turn things down? Or would he flirt back? Before Jack could respond, I spoke up, my voice shaking. "Jack, can we talk for a minute?" Jack turned toward me. Surprised, I excused myself and pulled him away from the table. "What's going on with you and Alex?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Jack blinked in confusion. "What do you mean?" I took a deep breath. "I'm asking if you're interested in Alex, because from what I just saw, it sure looked like you were." Jack looked shocked, then visibly uncomfortable. He rubbed the back of his neck. "Lena, He hesitated, but then his eyes softened. "I wasn't flirting with him, I swear. It was just friendly banter. I didn't mean anything by it." I wasn't sure if I believed him. My heart ached as I tried to process what had just happened. But before I could ask more questions, Jack continued. "Lena, what's going on? Are you testing me right now?" I was froze. I had been caught. It was at that moment that I realized the test had backfired. I had put my relationship with Jack in jeopardy by doubting him, and now he felt betrayed. Jack, hurt and confused, demanded an explanation. I explained my fears, how I had seen the post with Mia, and how the doubt had been eating her alive. I confessed that I didn't trust myself anymore and thought the test might give me the answers I needed. Jack looked disappointed, but there was no anger in his voice. "Lena, you should have trusted me. If you had doubts, you should have just talked to me. This whole test thing. It feels like you were setting me up to fail." I realized he was right. By trying to test his loyalty, she had lost sight of the trust they had built. The idea of testing him had been a reflection of her own insecurity, not his actions. They spent the rest of the night talking openly, and Jack promised to be more transparent with her moving forward. In the end, I learned a valuable lesson. Trust is not something you can put to the test. It's something you have to give freely and earn back when it's lost. And while loyalty is important in any relationship, so is communication and respect. Like and subscribe for more amazing stories. Thank you.